With everything that's going on right now, so many people are having to adjust to working from home. I've actually been working from home for over 20 years, so this has been less of an adjustment for me, but I wanted to share 5 accessories that will make a world of difference for your working from home setup. What's up, Sagi here, and welcome to another Tech Gear Talk. Today I'm going to go over 5 accessories that have really helped me create a more comfortable and productive setup. Now, some of these I incorporated pretty early on, and some of them unfortunately took me almost 18 years to figure out that I needed. So let's go. If it wasn't a priority before, then you probably realized very quickly that having a reliable and powerful Wi-Fi network is critical. Now, I recently upgraded to the Netgear Orbi Wi-Fi 6 system. I've actually been using the original Orbi system since it came out pretty much, and it was one of the very first videos that I made on this channel back in 2016. Now, because of where the internet comes into this house, it was impossible for us to use a single Wi-Fi router to cover the entire home. If you want to see the kind of issues that I was running into and learn why the original Orbi is so much better than an extender or a repeater, check out the link up in the corner and in the description. Now, if you're not familiar with the Orbi, it's a mesh system. So it's designed with a router and then one or multiple satellites, depending on how much space you need to cover. Now, one of the great things about a mesh network is that you don't need to create multiple networks to cover the entire house. So no matter how many satellites you need, you may only need the router and 1 satellite, or you might need the router and 3 satellites. Doesn't matter, it's just one big network. Now, that original Orbi system has worked beautifully for me for over 4 years. And then Netgear reached out to me when they came out with the upgraded tri-band mesh Wi-Fi 6 version. And thank you, Netgear, for sponsoring this video. I don't know what your situation is like, but in our house, Christy and I are working from home. The kids are doing remote learning. So at any given time, we may be on 4 different video calls while streaming content on multiple additional devices. From an entertainment standpoint, we stream everything: movies, shows, music, and again, we may be using 4 different devices to simultaneously stream 4K content. I have fiber coming into my office, so I have up to 1000 up and 1000 down from my main workstation, which is wired directly into the router. But all that speed doesn't really matter if I don't have a Wi-Fi network that's powerful enough to cover the entire house. Now, the new Orbi Wi-Fi 6 system is crazy fast, and there are 3 categories that I look for in a mesh network. First, coverage and capacity. Second, speed. And third, control and security. As far as coverage, the Orbi crushes it. Like, even the original Orbi was incredible. And again, if you're a nerd like me and you want to see all the test results, check out that link that I put in the description to my old video. What we're seeing with the Orbi Wi-Fi 6 is an increase in capacity, where this system can simultaneously communicate with 12 devices, and you can have up to 100 devices connected to the network. Now, as far as speed, we're getting wireless connectivity at up to 6 gigabits per second, which is bananas. And finally, with the Orbi app, you can easily set up your Orbi Wi-Fi, manage connected devices, run speed tests, and then with Netgear Armor, you can protect your network. Now, one thing you should always do is set up a guest network, which is super easy to do here. And then use your main network for work and for your devices, and then let the kids, their friends, and whatever guests you have come over use the guest network. That way you're keeping things separate. Like I said, I've been using the original Orbi for over 4 years now, so I have a ton of experience. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section. If, like me, you're ready to move on to a Wi-Fi 6 mesh network, and really you should, because a lot of the new devices support this standard, go ahead and check out the link in the description for more information and to get your own system. All right, so you got your Wi-Fi all taken care of with the Orbi Wi-Fi 6. Let's get to the desk. When you're working from home, you're less likely to get up and walk around because you don't need to go over to somebody else's desk to ask them a question or go into someone's office. So you're more confined to a single space, and you may find yourself sitting for longer periods of time than you're used to. I highly recommend that you get a sit-stand desk. I've been using one for almost 7 years now, and it's really been a game changer. Now, the latest desk that I added to our house is the Smart Desk 2 from Autonomous. It's an adjustable standing desk, so you're really easily able to alternate between sitting and standing. I'm a workaholic, so I'm at my desk for at least 10 hours a day, and being able to switch to a standing position a few times throughout the day has made a huge difference. Now, it comes in 2 different widths, a a 53-inch model, and a 70-inch model. There are 5 choices of top material and 3 options for the frame. I went with a clean white top and a silver frame because I wanted to keep things nice and bright. And I can tell you that this top is extremely solid. The Smart Desk 2 uses a dual motor system that's capable of lifting up to 300 pounds, which I'm not, and the height of the desk can range from 28 inches to 47 inches. So you can always get it at the proper height. This is not something that I hear enough people talk about. You hear a lot of people talking about the benefits of standing, but not much about having the desk at the proper height. It's so important to have the desk at the correct height to where your arms are resting comfortably on the armrests and are at the proper angle to your keyboard. It helps reduce fatigue and can prevent injuries. And this may mean that you're only moving the desk up or down by 1 inch, but it's significant when you're at your desk so much. Now, before I started using my sit-stand desk, my previous desk was too high because it had drawers. And because of that, my arms had to be angled up, and this part of my wrist would rest against the edge of the desk. And it got to the point where I couldn't do any work because the slightest touch would cause serious pain. And that's what drove me to invest in my first standing desk, and I can't recommend it enough. Plus, these autonomous Smart Desk 2 are less than half the price that I paid for my very first one, so you're getting a much better deal. And again, I'll have links in the description to where you can pick one up. All right, so moving on, even though you'll be standing some of the time, you're still gonna spend most of the time sitting down. And that's where you're gonna want a good chair. Now, I'm a big believer in investing in a good mattress, good shoes, and a good chair. Like, if you think about it, those are the 3 items that cover the majority of your activity. So I think it's the right place to spend your money. For this setup, I'm using the Maingear Forma R in white, or what they call Aspen, I believe. If you watched my office tour, then you saw that my main workstation desktop is made by Maingear, and it's an absolute beast. So I was on their website checking out another editing machine and I saw this chair. I was a little worried about a chair that I haven't had a chance to sit in, but it's actually so much nicer in person. I absolutely love the white and it's absurdly comfortable to sit in. And what I want you to look at when you're buying a chair is how many different elements you can customize. So with the Forma R, I love the hydraulic piston height adjustment, the 165 degrees of reclining and full tilt capabilities, and the removable microfleece memory foam pillows. But something that is really important to me is to have fully adjustable armrests. And these can be moved up and down, front to back, in and out, and then finally rotated out to the side. And the first 3 are great, but the last one is such a bonus because a lot of the time, I want my right arm angled to the side because I use a full keyboard, so my mouse is off to the side. Again, this goes hand in hand with having the desk at a proper height, and these micro adjustments are just what I was looking for so that I can always have my arms fully supported. Now, before I move on to the next accessory, if you like what you've seen so far and have gotten some value from this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. It helps the video and the channel, and it lets me know what kind of content you like so that I can make more of it. And if it's your first time here, hit the subscribe and notification buttons so you can stay up to date on all the latest gear and tutorials. All right, so I talked a little bit about my keyboard, so that brings me to my 4th accessory. Now, my background is in building cloud-based applications and web development, so I'm an extremely heavy keyboard user. But what's really funny is that for most of my life, I just kind of took whatever keyboard I had. I never really gave it much thought. It was just a keyboard, right? I just put it down, start typing. Never really thought about, oh, I'm gonna go check out different types of keyboards. I was like, that one looks cool, and I got it. But then I tried a mechanical keyboard and it was game over. So right now I'm using the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum XT, and I think it's just awesome. Corsair is known for making great gaming equipment, from keyboards to mice, streaming gear, gaming PCs, and PC components. So even though I don't game a ton on my main workstation, I just love how this board feels. It uses Cherry MX Brown switches, which are tactile, meaning that you can actually feel when you reach the actuation point. They're also a little bit on the loud side, which is fine for me because I'm alone in my office. And I do want to admit that I'm one of those strange people that actually really like the sound of typing. So even very clicky switches are never really an issue for me. But the nice thing is that they make this board with different switches. So you can pick the ones that both sound and feel the best to you. And that's really something that I can't believe I overlooked all those years. it was like such a blind spot that it wasn't even something that I thought about. And I was like, oh, I don't need it. I never really even thought about it. And then finally, when I tried it, it was like, what are you doing? And of course, you can also build your own board from scratch if you want to shop for components and go through the work of putting it together. But right now, for me, this board is a happy medium. In addition to being a full keyboard, it also has multimedia keys at the top, a volume rocker, and a mute button. And if you like RGB, you can customize it to just about any color combination or effect that you can think of. And if you don't, you can simply turn off the color or just set it to a solid color. And I'm not gonna lie, I always have RGB colors flying all over the keyboard. I don't know, it makes me happy when I walk into my office and I see the colors. I don't know why, it makes me happy. If it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. I'm happy. Regardless, another important component is the wrist rest. Again, get yourself a comfortable setup so your hands don't have to angle up in order to reach the keys. That way you can type for hours without discomfort. Now this brings me to the last work from home accessory for today's video, a good mouse. Your hand is on the mouse for a lot of the time that you're sitting at your desk. And having a powerful mouse designed with comfort in mind is a great starting point. I've been using this series of Logitech mice since the Performance MX, which I think came out more than 10 years ago. And now I'm up to the MX Master 2S, which looks awesome, is amazingly comfortable, it fits and supports my hand, and has a ton of functionality. It's got a 4000 DPI precision sensor, which tracks on essentially any surface, even glass, 2 scrolling wheels, one for traditional up and down scrolling and one for left to right. There are 2 additional buttons on the side for back and forward navigation on the web, and the entire thumb rest is clickable and is set to task view, which is the same as clicking the Windows key plus tab, and brings up a miniature version of all the open windows so you can choose one. Now, another great feature is that it has a toggle button on the back, which lets you switch between different devices. So I can control my main workstation, which is set up as device 1. I can click on that button and then have the mouse move to control my laptop, and then click one more time and start using it on my iPad. And this way I can use one mouse to control all 3 devices. So if you have more than one device and you're switching back and forth, you don't want multiple mice on your desk, that's a great feature. All right, so I know I said I only had 5 items, but as I was making this video, I realized that this list needs to be longer. So I'm gonna put together a part 2. I really hope that you take some time to set yourself up with a work from home setup that supports your body. You might be surprised at how much better you feel at the end of every day. I'll put links in the description to where you can buy the items that I mentioned in this video, as well as a few other smaller items that I think you'll enjoy. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, let me know in the comment section. I hope I was able to share some items that will improve your working from home experience. If I did, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, tweet it, share it, and if you haven't yet, join the community by hitting the subscribe and notification buttons. You can always find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Netgear Talk. You know what I always say, buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.